Hey there, welcome back to Cisco Reads Books. Today we got a military thriller Thursday review for you, and it is Dale Brown's Dreamland, Armageddon, book number 6 in the Dreamland series. So I'll read you the back and see what we're getting into. Hidden in the Nevada desert, America's most advanced aerospace weapons testing facility, Dreamland, is the place where the nation's top minds come to develop artillery and aircraft that push beyond the cutting edge, and where the Air Force's top guns come to test them on the front lines of this new era in warfare. Captain Brianna Stockard is training the Brunei Air Force to fly the EB-52 Megafortress, but the routine assignment is sent into a tailspin with a violent attempted kidnapping. With a major arms deal about to take place in this volatile region of the world, it is up to Brianna Stockard and her husband, Major Jeff Zen Stockard, to uncover a plot that could mean Armageddon. So, this one, we got a thing at the top from Larry Bond, and it says, a master at mixing technology and action. He puts readers right in the middle of the inferno. So yeah, this book is fantastic. As we know from the review of book 5, this continues with the South China Sea / Brunei cycle. And hence we're in Brunei and with Brianna Stockard and Mac, the knife Smith, trying to teach the Brunei Air Force how to work the EB-52 Megafortresses. Mac Smith in this book is not working for Dreamland, but he's the liaison to the arms deal that will give Brunei its EB-52s. And obviously, Brianna Stockard's there to help facilitate the actual training. So we follow Brianna and Zen Stockard in the beginning of this book are almost kidnapped by an Islamic group based out of Malaysia, which is basically surrounds Brunei. And we have a militant leader named Sarah Nu. That's probably pronounced wrong, but that's what it is. And basically, the Dreamland has a whiplash order that comes out from the president to go and stop this ensuing insurgency and possible coup of Brunei to flip it into the Islamist kind of alignment. So during this book, there is high-flying action. There is ground forces with Danny Free, our Whiplash team leader, on the ground, and just an all-around amazing action-packed novel. Now, this is the shortest of the Dreamland books, with everything basically before and after this one being much longer in length. However, even with this being a shorter book in the series, it is one of the most pivotal moments in the series, just because the stuff that happens in this book determines the trajectory, basically, of books 7 through 10 after these events. So, with that being said, like, this is, one of those, book 5 and book 6, Strike Zone and Armageddon, are two of the more pivotal books in the series, where it really is settling into itself, and Jim DeFelice and Dale Brown have really come up with a fantastic world and characters that they're ready to start exploring more in depth than just the action-packed goodness that we've gotten thus far. With that being said, Dog is in this, and of course, Dog is great. Dog being Tecum Sebastian, and just, fantastic name for a character, and just one of the greatest, in my opinion, military thriller characters that have hit the page. Because this guy has a zero fucks given attitude that just rocks everybody in his path, and no matter what it takes, he gets the mission done. In this book, we also meet two of the new Flighthawk pilots that are training under Jeff Stockard, one of them being Kick and the other one being Starship. And these two have a turbulent relationship with Starship coming from the A-10 world, which isn't really um, considered a fighter aircraft. It's more of a ground support aircraft in its role. But I mean, it's still badass. But Kick has come from fighter aircraft, so they kind of butt heads over just overall flying ability and really pushing the limits of what each of them are willing to do. Which during the course of this book, you really become attached to both of them. Unfortunately, something happens, and you know you kind of have to deal with it. But that's the beauty of the Dreamland books, is that the characterization is so fantastic in these that you do get attached to characters even when we only have one book with them. It really does lead to just the in-depth characterization and the brotherhood that's formed in times of times under fire. And it's just a really beautiful relationship that you get to see on the page throughout all of the Dreamland books, basically. But this one, in more ways than one, like you're attached to these characters, and when shit goes down and you're uncertain of the fallout from the events. Damn, there's a heavy thunderstorm happening right now. Gotta love Florida. But yeah, so this book is fantastic. It does happen in the South China Sea. There's a little bit of participation from the Malaysian Air Force that we have to deal with throughout the novel. Almost creating international incidences everywhere Dog Bastion goes, and this is going to set us up for the series to come, which heavily influences what happens to Tecum Sebastian in future books. But this is a perfect lead up. Like I said, it's one of the shorter novels in the series, but one of the most pivotal, in my opinion, because it definitely sets up everything that's kind of going to avalanche from this and other interactions that we get in the next book. But just another fantastic addition to the series. Dale Brown and Jim DeFelice do a fantastic job of characterization, plot, setting, all of that stuff. And not only that, but also highlighting what could be future hot zones during the time that this was written. I mean, the book takes place in 1997, but I'm pretty sure it was published in the 2000s. Yes, it was originally published in 2004. So even though this is kind of backtracking to coincide with events that have happened in the Patrick McClanahan series, it definitely paints the picture of just turmoil and hotspots around the world that either that we've seen turn into hotspots in recent years, or could still potentially be hotspots. Because when you look at Brunei, there is an area in between the two sections of the island. Brunei has a very small area on the coast, but it's split in between with a part of Malaysia. So, I mean, this is going to end up being a conflict zone, whether you think so or not. I mean, there's already been tensions about that region because it basically cuts Brunei in half. So just with that kind of geopolitical forethought that we get from this team of writers is just fantastic. I mean, Dale Brown does a great job in his own right with the Patrick McClanahan series, but that just the depth of research that goes into these books is just phenomenal. The ending of this book leaves you with a definite, not a really cliffhanger, but at least a couple threads that you're just not sure how they're going to resolve until basically the next book, which is called Satan's Tale, which I'm currently reading again now. And it's just another phenomenal book in the Dreamland series. Honestly, if I had to compare the two, Dreamland versus Patrick McClanahan, at least for the first 6 books, because I'm up to book 7 on Dreamland, or book 7 on Patrick McClanahan, but I have finished the Dreamland series. And with if you're looking at like the first 7 books in each series, I would say that as good as Patrick McClanahan is as a character, I prefer the Dreamland books. They're a little bit more action packed. There's a little bit more um, finesse in the geopolitical situation that's going on in these books, and just overall, like, I relate a little bit more to Tecumseh Dog Bastion than I do Patrick McClanahan. But I mean, not to knock either series. I love them both. And always will, because they're some of the best military thrillers that I've seen. I like aerial combat. And I feel like nobody does it better than Dale Brown. And the depth of experience that he has with being a navigator on the B-52s when he was in the military just gives him a breadth of experience that we don't usually get from a military thriller author writing about aerial combat. And if there's others out there that do it well, please leave a comment with their book and I will check it out, because I'm always looking for more aerial combat related military thrillers. So with that being said, I mean, this is a fantastic book. This is a 28 out of 30, with both plot getting a 10, characterization getting a 9, and setting getting a 9. So this is a fantastic book. It's a 5 out of 5 reads for me on Goodreads, and there's not much else I can say other than I don't know why you haven't started the Dreamland series yet. And if you're watching this video, you probably should start, because it's phenomenal and you're missing out. So read that shit. But with that being said, thank you for joining me for another Military Thriller Thursday. And until next time, read, because reading is fundamental.